Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded local newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. It's brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The Daytona 500 may have been put off until the Monday after the scheduled race, but local residents still came out in force to support local fire departments. On that Sunday, the Daytona 500 was rained out until Monday, February 19th, but the Clinton Eagles annual fundraiser for area fire departments went off without a hitch. Carrie Coles, or Casey from the Kenny Fire Department, says the day was incredible, despite not having a race to watch.
Out at the Eagles, they give us the platform every year to come in there and do a fundraiser that benefits Clinton, Wapella, and Kenny Fire Departments. And these are the funds that we get to use for the things that we need. That's just not in the budget. And it's a great group of people out there. What they do at the Eagles, what they do at this community is just amazing. And to allow us to come in there and do this is, pretty humbling. This year, of course, the race got canceled, so it kind of impacted the numbers of people that showed up out there, because some people come out for the race, some people come out just for the camaraderie or what have you. But we still was able to raise over $41,000 for three, they'll be split between three departments. And to me, that's pretty impressive in this day and age. It's a tough economy right now. A lot of people are struggling, and to be able to have our community support us to that level, it's just inspiring.
Fritz Robinson is on the Kenny Fire Department District Board of Trustees and says the funds raised and distributed to their department always help bridge the gap from what the department cannot afford, but they still need.
This event, like Casey said, $41,000 split between three departments. I'm one of the trustees on Kenny Fire Department also. Like I just said when we were off air, I said anything that is painted fire department red, the expense is just phenomenal anymore. And we have things that are mandated that we have to do, we have to have. The problem is they mandate it, we have to have it. They just don't tell us how we're supposed to pay for it. But it just happens to be what it is. And the money that we get here really helps supplement our budget to buy equipment, supplies, personal protective, whatever we utilize it for on that year, really helps on our line items on our budget. Rescue jacks that we did a couple of years ago, one of those things that when you buy them, you hope you never have to use it. I think a few years ago we supplemented for the grain bin tube when we purchased it.
And the wall power tools.
Our battery powered tools on the trucks that we now have. It's just a lot of stuff that really benefits our department that we probably couldn't have or would be delayed in getting if we didn't have this funding.
According to KC, the fundraiser is a great time and is open to the public at the Eagles each year. He explains they have everything from reverse raffles, 50-50s, auction items, and food and drinks.
Well, it's an all-day event, and it's a lot of work's put into it. The ladies at the Eagles and the people they're on the committee and everything, they put a lot of time, a lot of effort and everything into this. We do a reverse raffle, which is a lot of fun. You get in on that $100 ticket, but I think this year you could win up to $6,000 if it went down to one person. So it's a lot of fun. People really get into that. But they have a silent auction, they have a live auction. We start off at noon. We go through the evening. Some of them go till 7:30, depending on how many people are there and what's happening. Later in the days when the live auction goes on, which everybody really enjoys doing that. But we have food is provided there. If you want to donate, you can donate. They do the NASCAR board, so you can come in, you blind pick a number, and you have a chance to win money. Just the whole day, it's just a lot of fun. A lot of people, you'll see people you haven't seen in a few years that are coming out to this thing, and catch up. It's just a great group.
The Clinton, Kenny, and Wapella Fire Departments split the funds raised from the Daytona event each year. Those funds will be distributed in the next few weeks by the folks from the Eagles. The Clinton Eagles was recently named the Chamber of Commerce's Nonprofits of the Year. A Central Illinois lawmaker is sounding the alarm on what he describes as dangerous legislation every parent should know about. State Senator Chapin Rose says some of the upcoming legislative proposals in Springfield are ridiculous, and he calls some ridiculous, like a ban on gas-powered leaf blowers, but others are more serious, like a ban on trucks built before 2010.
Well, first of all, let's talk about what some of the other nonsense that's going on. Some of these things you kind of laugh at and you go, man, where do they get these crazy ideas? And then some of them they get really serious. So, there's a bill filed to ban gas-powered leaf blowers. I mean, I'm sure everybody listening to this is like, you're out of your minds. But then there was another bill, which is extremely serious, that would literally ban all semi-trucks built before 2010 or earlier, okay? Well, that's most of them on the roads. That's what takes food to your grocery stores. That's what takes food out of the farm fields. That's what takes gasoline to the gas stations. Oh, those are most of your, ambulances and fire trucks too, okay? School buses, all right? So think about how much food costs right now at the grocery store. And then, add 60, 70% to it by the time you have a massive supply chain crisis and can't actually get farm food off the farm and into the grocery store, can't get grain, out of the elevator and into ADM down in Decatur. What are these guys people, what do they want? How much more expensive do they want life to be for us? I mean, anything you buy is going to be more expensive. Do you realize, Seth, because diesel trucks are built to last, most of the trucks on the road were built before 2010. So whether it's gasoline tankers, any of them. But I did this poll down in my new district the other night, Crawford County. I had a guy was at the local fire chiefs meeting. I said, hey, ask him how many of the fire trucks in the county were built before 2010. The answer was all of them.
Senator Rose says those ideas aren't even the craziest that are coming up this year. He points to a Naperville lawmaker who is proposing having parents removed as legal guardians if they do not approve gender-affirming care being sought by their minor child.
Seth, I wish I could tell you this was even the craziest bill introduced. That a representative from Naperville, Illinois, filed a bill that will terminate your parental rights as a parent. Take your kid away. That would terminate your rights as a parent. Take your kids away if you were them gender-affirming, quote-unquote, gender-affirming care. Don't go out and get your kid, a sex change operation. You lose your kid. This has gone from off the reservation nutso world to outright evil world. They're coming for your kids. Now, I don't think that bill is going to pass this year. But the fact that a state representative elected from Naperville, Illinois, even filed this is wrong, man. These are your children as parents, okay? Once they turn 18, they're an adult. They can do whatever they want to do. I hope they consult with you. I hope they ask for your advice. I hope you give it to them. But adults are not kids, and kids are not adults. Parents should control the health care decisions of their minor children. End of story. And that is where you take. This is no longer a reasonable policy discussion about the best way to provide, the best way to the outcome. This is a disagreement about the outcome because I'm on the side of parents and families, and I'm not on the side of the state taking control of children away from parents and families. She literally this bill equates the refusal to put your child under the knife in gender-affirming care as a parent with child abuse. She makes those two equivalent.
The Muhammad Republican says this proposal should send a chill down the spine of every parent in the state of Illinois. He says there are people now in the Democratic Party in Illinois that believe the government is better suited to parent a child than its parents and calls it insane. News time is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday morning. Plenty more to get to coming your way next on the WHOW Morning Show.
March into Baum Chevrolet Buick and march out with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have a good selection of Silverado trucks to fit your everyday work needs. We have 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s in regular cabs, double cabs, and crew cabs. And if you're looking for good fuel economy, check out our 3-liter diesel and our 1500 Silverados boasting a combined 26 miles per gallon rating. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
News time is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Illinois Ag Legislative Day is taking center stage in Springfield. The Illinois Department of Ag Director, Jerry Costello, is playing a key role in the event.
And I can tell you, when I served in the legislature, this was always one of my favorite days. As a legislator, whether you're in the House or the Senate, you have lobbyists that are trying to talk to you almost any free minute that you have, whether it's in your office, walking through the Capitol halls. Today is a time when these young men and women can talk to and honestly corner our representatives and senators and talk to them about agriculture, talk to them about the future of agriculture. And when you get a 50 or 60-year-old lobbyist who wants to talk to you, obviously you take a little bit of time, you talk to them. I promise you, when you get a kid that's 17 years old, who's got that bright look in their eye, and they're talking to you about the future of agriculture technology, they are the absolute best ambassadors of agriculture that we have. And we probably get more done in a single day for agriculture on this day than any the rest of the year.
Wednesday marked the 54th Illinois Ag Legislative Day. House of Representatives passed a bill early Wednesday morning that could ban the social media application TikTok. The bill received widespread support from both Democrats and Republicans. However, some feel the ban could destroy their business. Democratic Congressman Eric Sorensen says the move is not a ban, but instead forces ByteDance, the app's owner, to keep data in the United States.
Miles an hour are likely as it pushes northeast at 50 miles an hour. Again, a severe thunderstorm warning continues until 7:30 a.m. this morning for McLean County. Bear in mind, this storm has the potential for quarter-size hail and wind gusts to 60 miles an hour. Stay tuned for additional updates. I'm meteorologist Derek Height.
The bill that we may have on the floor today will say to TikTok, you have 160 days to make sure that the data stays in the United States, to make sure that you divest. So there are Americans that are invested in TikTok. So it just makes sure that that company will become an American company somehow, or there'll be more ramifications because we have to make sure that a bad actor like China does not have the ability to especially influence the upcoming election.
The bill now heads to the Senate, where the future is yet to be determined. If the Senate passes the bill, it will head to President Biden's desk for approval. Those looking for housing in Illinois should think twice about putting down a deposit on an apartment. The reasoning is that scammers want to take advantage of the housing crunch by creating a false sense of urgency. Don O'Brien with the Better Business Bureau sees this scam far too often.
These mainly proliferate through social media, whether you might see something on a Facebook listing, you might see something, on any different social media where you might see houses for rent or apartments for rent. And what happens is you deal with someone, and the scammers most likely take a property that was once for sale, and they will make it act as if that place is for rent, and they'll take the photos off the actual listing, make up their own listing, and put that property at a very attractive price for rent. And you never talk to the person. All the communication is through text messages. You never get to see the property. So if you're desperate, sometimes, Blake, you'll just go along and you say, well, you know what? I'm just going to trust this person, and even though I haven't talked to him or seen the property, I want to get in on this because I really need a place to live, and that's the last thing you should do.
From there, scammers ask for a down payment on the home. Once they receive the money through an app like Cash App or Venmo, they stop responding to messages and disappear. Cardinals legend Adam Wainwright and the United Way of Greater St. Louis are teaming up to increase community service across the nation in towns where Major League Baseball visits. Wainwright and his nonprofit organization, Big League Impact, will offer opportunities for players to serve nationwide, providing local people with basic needs like food, healthcare, education, and more. United Way spokesperson Katie Feltz says Wainwright is a very philanthropic person.
He really has been someone who has focused on giving back his entire career, a strong sense of faith that he's always, carried with him, that he's always leaned on throughout his career. Yeah. And I think what we've seen with him creating Big League Impact and then joining forces with United Way is that we see in just one more way how he really tries to be frank, puts his money where his mouth is.
United Way's Volunteer Center connects people to thousands of volunteer opportunities to serve the community every year. This opportunity in particular will give the nonprofits they're helping more bandwidth to provide better support and resources to the people who look to them for help. A new bill could help first responders receive free mental health insurance coverage. State Senator Michael Hastings says Senate Bill 3538 would require any self-insured county or municipality that provides health insurance coverage to first responders to include mental health counseling coverage without any cost-sharing requirements on patients.
Our first responders put their lives on the line every day by keeping our community safe. By making care easily affordable, we're removing financial barriers and chipping away at the stigma of prioritizing mental health. This legislation would require any self-insured county or municipality that provides health insurance coverage to first responders to include mental health counseling coverage without imposing any cost-sharing requirements on the patients. Many first responders encounter traumatic events on a regular basis. It's vital that we provide them with the resources to manage and work through these difficult situations.
Senate Bill 3538 passed Senate Local Government Committee Wednesday and now heads to the full Senate for consideration. Did the USDA's first look at 2024 total meat production show an increase over the previous year, which recorded a year-over-year production decline? Rod Bain tells us.
Last year was the first time since 2014 that total U.S. meat production did not record a year-over-year increase. Will that trend continue in 2024? As USDA livestock analyst Shell Shagam explained at this year's Ag Outlook Forum.
When we're talking about the total meat sector, we're talking about very, very small growth, less than 0.1%, take us up to about just shy of 107 million pounds.
In terms of expected production by meat category,
basically what we're looking at is declining beef and turkey production, but increases in pork and broiler meat. Most of these are not very large changes, with the exception of beef.
That due to the impacts of multi-year drought on cattle supplies. The expected decline in turkey production this year is associated with a period of weak prices and effects from a recent outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza the past few months. Turning to projected season prices for meat animals for calendar year 2024.
In terms of prices, we are talking about a record high cattle price of about $180 a hundredweight, which is about 2 to 3% higher than it was a year ago. Hog prices will be driven higher, largely supported by expected increases in demand, both domestic and international. A little bit higher poultry price, broiler price being driven by some increased demand in the U.S., offset to a lesser extent by some declines in sales overseas. Turkey, generally weak prices through most of 2024 being driven by demand. So we're looking at a double-digit decline in turkey prices.
Now, what about 2024 forecast for egg production and prices?
Basically, you're looking at about 8 billion dozen eggs in 2024 compared to about 7.9 billion a year ago, and a very fractional increase in your hatching egg production. We are looking at egg prices averaging a little bit lower, down to about $1.83 a dozen, well below the high prices we saw in 2023, but still elevated relative to the years before the HPAI problems.
I'm Rod Bain reporting for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in Washington, D.C.
News time is 29 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Thursday. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube. Brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Coming up on 7:30 on this Thursday, high school baseball and softball action from yesterday. We've got recaps for the Clinton boys and girls teams that were in action yesterday. Recaps for Maroa-Forsyth, Monticello, Mount Pulaski, Normal West, Normal Community, and much, much more in sports. A busy day of high school sports, and we've got it all covered here on WHOW.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. As Haiti sinks deeper into the abyss, its government collapsing under the weight of horrific gang violence, there's concern the bloodshed will unleash a tidal wave of Haitian migrants on U.S. shores. Meanwhile, a proposal to install new leadership in Haiti appears to have fallen apart. Travel pretty much impossible. Schools and businesses are closed, a result of a major winter storm dumping huge amounts of snow on Denver and surrounding areas, could be up to 3 feet in the mountains. The ground saturated by flooding rains, landslides taking a toll in parts of Southern California. In the Sherman Oaks neighborhood of L.A., at least one hillside home has been lost. And hail, some described as the size of softballs, has pounded parts of Kansas and Missouri, stopping traffic for a time along portions of Interstate 70. Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures are up 143 points. More details, srnnews.com.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jeremy House. In the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks extend their winning streak by beating the Golden State Warriors 109-99.
Luka Doncic's triple-double streak ended at 7. He had 21 points. Doncic left the game in the fourth quarter with a sore hamstring. It was the Mavs' fourth straight win. Mavs dominated the paint 68-48, held the Warriors to just 40% shooting from the field. Kyrie Irving led the Mavs, who had 6 players in double figures with 23 points, 11 assists, while Jonathan Kuminga had a game-high 27 for Golden State. Andrew Wiggins had 17.
That's correspondent Bob Stevens reporting. Other winners included Detroit, Orlando, Denver, Cleveland, Charlotte, Chicago, Portland, and Sacramento. In men's top 25 college basketball, 20th-ranked BYU down Central Florida 87-73, while 16th-ranked Kansas was upset by Cincinnati. This is SRN Sports. In the NHL, the Nashville Predators continue to rack up points.
The Predators' 4-2 win over the Jets gives Nashville a 13-game point streak. Gustav Nyquist had a goal and an assist as the Preds moved to 11-0-2 during their streak. Jason Zucker, Philip Forsberg, and Kiefer Sherwood also scored. Roman Josi had 2 assists, and UC Saros turned back 27 shots. Winnipeg scored 2 third-period goals, breaking the ice on Alex Iafallo's tally. Connor Hellebuck stopped 34 shots for the Jets, who remained 2 points off the Central Division lead. Nashville moved 3 points clear of the Kings and Knights for the first wild card in the West. I'm Dave Ferry.
Other winners were St. Louis, Colorado, and Edmonton. NFL news, the Kansas City Chiefs have restructured quarterback Patrick Mahomes' contract. The restructuring frees up more than $21 million in salary cap space that the Chiefs can use elsewhere. This is SRN Sports.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. In a game heard on WHOW and at DeWittDailyNews.com, Preston Curtis got Clinton out of a tough spot in the 5th inning and preserved a 4-2 Maroons win over Hayworth in non-conference baseball action. From Evans Field at Clinton High School Wednesday afternoon. With the Maroons up 4-2, Curtis came on in relief of starting pitcher Brock Wilson with runners at first and second and 1 out. Curtis hit the first batter he faced to load the bases, but struck out the next 2 to get out of the jam. Curtis got through the next 2 innings to close out the win, and Clinton picked up its first victory of the season. Josh Bass drove in 2 runs with a double, finishing 1 for 2 with a walk. Jack Manning and Mason Walker had RBIs for Clinton. Brooks Kluver was 1 for 3 with an infield single. Mason Walker and Colton Walker each made highlight reel diving catches in the outfield Wednesday. Colton Walker's diving catch in the 7th inning closed out the win for Clinton. It was Hayworth's season opener as the Hornets fall to 0-1 overall. Clinton goes to 1-1 on the season and takes on Lexington Friday afternoon. Clinton broke out the bats again Wednesday and rolled to a 16-0 win over Cerro Gordo B Mint in non-conference high school softball action Wednesday in Cerro Gordo. Heidi Humble and Avery Smith drove in 2 runs apiece for the Lady Maroons. Brooke Reeves was 2 for 3 with 3 runs scored at the top of the Clinton lineup. Ashley Armstrong was 3 for 4 with a run scored and 2 runs batted in for Clinton. The Lady Maroons did not strike out in the contest Wednesday. They go to 2-0 on the season and travel to Lexington on Friday. Monticello scored 9 runs over the final 3 frames and ran away from Villa Grove 13-1 in non-conference high school boys baseball action from Villa Grove Wednesday. Hayden Romano threw 4 innings of 1-run ball for the Sages. The sophomore struck out 6, walked 2, and permitted 2 hits. Matt Swartz and Dylan Brown combined for 3 shutout innings to preserve the win for the Sages. Jacob Long paced the Monticello offense, going 2 for 4 with a double and 4 RBIs. Carter Foran, Colton Vance, and Luke Teschke drove in 2 runs apiece for Monticello. Brian Whitgren, Eli Kraft, and Teschke all had doubles for the Sages, leading 4-1 going to the 5th inning. Monticello added 2 runs in the 5th to increase its lead to 6-1. The Sages would add 4 runs in the 6th and 3 more in the 7th. Monticello goes to 2-0 on the season. They travel south for their annual spring break trip to Southern Illinois this weekend, starting with a Friday matchup with Anna Jonesboro, then Murfreesboro on Saturday. Zane Giles paced a balanced Maroa-Forsyth offensive attack on Wednesday as the Trojans rolled Tuscola 10-0 in 6 innings in high school boys baseball action in Forsyth. Giles was 3 for 4 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. Mitch Williams was 2 for 4 with a double, a run scored, and an RBI. Caden Rose drove in 2 with a double, going 2 for 3 with a run scored for the Trojans. Andy Munjoy was 1 for 4 with an RBI double. Tate Bradenberg struck out 8 in 4 scoreless innings on the mound for the Trojans. Munjoy struck out 4 and walked 2 in 2 scoreless, hitless innings to close out the win. Maroa-Forsyth is 3-0 on the season. They host Argenta Oriena this afternoon. Mount Pulaski's offense picked up where it left off last season, several seasons rather, and rolled to a season-opening 16-0 5-inning win over North Mac on Wednesday in non-conference baseball action in Verdon. Liam Smith paced the Hilltoppers offense, going 2 for 2 with a double, 4 runs scored, and a run driven in. Luke Martin was 1 for 3 with a double and 2 runs batted in. Chance Payne was 2 for 3 with a triple and 4 RBIs. Payne started on the mound for the Hilltoppers, going 2 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs. 2 were earned on 2 hits. He issued 4 walks and struck out 5. Landon Smith and Eric Cooper combined for the final 2 2/3 innings of shutout ball to close out the win. The Hilltoppers are 1-0 on the season. They will host Central A&M on Monday of next week. Ryan Teeley hit a 3-run home run, and 3 normal community pitchers combined for 1 run, 1 hit ball as the Ironmen rolled Pekin 12-1 in 5 innings of the normal community season opener Wednesday in high school baseball action in Pekin. Josh Eisfelter had a 2-run pinch hit double, and Reed Johnson had a 2-run pinch hit base hit off the bench for normal. Owen Kavanaugh was 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored and an RBI for the Ironmen Ironman, while Brady Burkhart was 2 for 3 with a run scored and a run batted in. Brady Bankston went 2 innings of 1 hit, shutout ball on the mound. The senior struck out 6 in 2 innings of work. Parker Michaels struck out 5 in 2 perfect innings of relief to close out the win. For Normal Community, the Ironmen are 1-0 on the season and host Metamora today at 4:30. Rochester doubled up Normal West 10-5 in the Wildcats season opener in high school baseball action from Rochester Wednesday afternoon. Trent Durham paced the Wildcats, going 2 for 3 with a run driven in and a run scored. Braden Whitehead doubled and scored twice, while Blake Crancer, Sean Jenkins, and Jackson Crancer each drove in runs for Normal West. The Wildcats dropped to 1-0 on the season. They'll look to get into the win column when they visit Troy Triad on Friday. Augie Rasmussen hit 2 home runs in Illinois State 16-6 7-inning romp over Indiana Wednesday at Bart Kaufman Field. Rasmussen's pair of blasts plated 5 of 9 runs for Illinois State in the second inning as the Redbirds go to 6-8 overall and pounded out 15 hits. Judah Morris tallied 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and 2 runs, while Daniel Pacella had 2 hits with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Morris cleared the bases for the Redbirds with an RBI double as he would come around to score a few pitches later, making it 14-0. JT Sokolov tallied the 4th home run of the afternoon, sending one to the Indiana bullpen. Illinois State is scheduled to play Friday through Sunday at UT Martin. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.